Hi, welcome to MathforAll, where everyone can learn more about math. Today, we are going to teach about something that is optional, but it will help you in solving messy equations. It is normally called clearing the fractions, and it can be used to clear decimals and extra zeros. So, we can really call it the cleanup crew because we can make unruly equations much cleaner and easier to solve. I don't know about you, but I am in on making things easier. If you can, please print out notes that you can fill in the blanks as we go through this video at my website, MathforAll.net. The fabulous news is that we won't even solve equations in this video. We'll just make them more beautiful. Before we get into it, I'm going to show you why learning this is a good idea. You don't have to just take my word for it. This equation, with all its annoying decimals, will turn into this. Okay, that's not too impressive, but just wait. Take a look at this one with all those zeros. It turns into this. That's looking promising. I'd rather solve the second one for sure. Here's the finale. How about this guy with all these fractions? He will turn into, drum roll please, this. No more fractions, just a multi-step equation. Yippee! Now we're really talking. Let's learn how to harness this power. Let's briefly discuss the steps, and then we'll practice some. Step 1. Notice if an equation's terms have a lot of decimals, extra zeros, or fractions. Remember that terms are everything separated by pluses and minuses. Step 2. Decide what to multiply or divide everything by. For decimals and extra zeros, we basically move decimals back and forth, which is actually pretty nice. For fractions, we will need to find the common denominator, and that will be what we multiply everything by. Step 3, multiply or divide each term by your choice to make a prettier equation. The reason we can transform these is because it is legal to multiply or divide an entire equation by the same number. Let's see this in action. This first one reminds me of something we might see when we have a word problem with money. 4.56d plus 5.80d plus 7.6 equals 9.75 minus 2d. We'll follow my steps. 1. Notice that this equation seems to have a lot of decimals. Not every term does, but enough that I think I'd like to get rid of them. Step 2, decide what to multiply by. For this one, these three terms have 2 decimal places. I'm going to multiply everything by 100. The 2 zeros in 100 show me that it will take care of those 2 decimal places. Honestly, we just need to remember to move every decimal point 2 places forward. Step 3, let's do this. You can put the 100 in front, like this. Then parentheses around the whole equation to show what you're doing. 100 times 4.56d moves 2 places forward, bloop bloop, to equal 456d. Same for 5.80d. Wave wave for 580d. Then 7.6. Take his decimal, bloop bloop, don't forget the invisible 0 here, to equal 760. Now don't forget to do the other side of the equation. We're not leaving anything out. Everyone gets the 100. 9.75 turns into 975. Then what about this negative 2d? His invisible decimal point is right after him here. Then bloop bloop. Invisible 0 squeezed in here, so he is negative 200d. That was kind of fun making that look better. Let's do another one with extra zeros this time. We have 56,000y minus 48,000 equals 18,000y plus 23,000. Step 1, I think we can all see that this equation has a whole bunch of extra zeros, specifically 3 zeros on each term. Step 2, to go after these zeros, we're going to do the opposite of what we did to the other one. We will divide everything by 1,000, 3 zeros to get rid of the 3 zeros everywhere. I will write 1 over 1,000 in front with my big old parentheses, showing I'm multiplying by 1 over 1,000, being legal and all. Step 3, do math and distribute. This time, I will just eliminate the 3 zeros in every term. 56y minus 48 equals 18y plus 23. Once again, that was fun and easy. Now we will eliminate fractions. These will get a little more complicated because we're not just moving decimals or slashing zeros, but it's also where we can make the equation transform the most. 3/8b plus 3/10 minus 2/5b equals 3/4b minus 5. Going through our steps, we notice that this one obviously has fractions. We could solve this the way it is, but we're going to clean it up and get rid of those fractions. Step 2, figure out what to multiply everything by. Bummer, this isn't as easy as the other examples with the decimals and zeros. We need to find a common denominator to all of these bottom numbers. Remember that a common denominator is basically what is the smallest number that all of the numbers can multiply to. So we need what 8, 10, 5, and 4 go into. You may be able to figure that out, but it's not super easy because we have the 4 numbers to contend with. A strategy that works for me is to take the biggest number, for us 10, and go up by that number until everything goes into it. Start with 10. 5 goes into that, but 8 and 4 do not, so no winner there. Going up 10, I'm at 20. Now 5 and 4 go into it, but the 8 does not, so we cannot use it. We're in an all or nothing game where we all have to win or it's a lose. Keep going to 30. Definitely not a winner. Up to 40. Now, everything goes into 40 evenly. The 4, 5, 8, and the 10. We will multiply our equation by 40. Step 3. Write this 40 in front with my parentheses. We must distribute the 40 to each term. 40 times 3/8b. If I write it over here, you can see what's going on. 40 times 3/8. 40 over 1, then slash anything divisible on the top and bottom. 40 and 8 are both divisible by 8, slash 8. 8 divided by 8 is 1 on the bottom, then 40 slash. Divided by 8 is 5. Across the top is 5 times 3 for 15. Don't forget the b next to it. Next term, 40 times 3/10. Slash 40 and 10, divide them by 10 for a 4 here and a 1 on the bottom. 4 times 3 is 12. See how this is really making it simpler? Moving right along, 40 times negative 2/5b. The 40 and the 5 are divisible by 5. 1 on the bottom. 40 turns into an 8. Then 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. And once again, don't forget the b. Almost done. We just have to do the other side. 40 times 3/4b. Can you see what's going to happen? We know the bottom will be 1. Divide the 40 by 4 equals 10. Multiply by 3 for 30b here. Last one that looks a little different. 40 times negative 5. We just have to multiply this normally. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. Then add a 0 equals negative 200. Congratulations on making a much more tolerable equation. We have one more to clean up, making our day just a little brighter. It goes over something new you may encounter, so keep listening intently. This is an equation I used in my last video and that we solved without clearing the fractions. But now I'll show you how this could have been easier. Here it is. Step 1. I noticed some ugly fractions with some parentheses. I'm going to go after those fractions for sure. Most times, our first step would be to distribute anything that we can. But when we're planning on clearing fractions, we don't need to distribute first. Step 2. Find our common denominator from our bottom numbers, or 2 and 4. Easy enough, they both go into 4, so that's our winner. Step 3. Multiply each term by the 4. I like to put the 4 in front with parentheses. 4 times negative 5 halves j, slash the 4 and 2, the 4 turns into a 2, then 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and our j for negative 10j. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24 here. Take this next one. The term is this long mess, negative 3/4 times 10j minus 8. Very important. Only multiply by the outside of the parentheses. So 4 times negative 3/4. The 4's cancel out, so I have a negative 3 in front. Keep the parentheses the same. Other side of the equal sign. 4 times 1/2 is 2, so we have 2 times 3j plus 8. Then 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. Phew! That looks fabulous. Great job. I hope you can appreciate how clearing fractions may be an extra step, but it can really help us in the long run to solve some unruly looking equations. Remember, we can move decimal points and get rid of zeros as long as we do the same to each term. Now that you have this amazing knowledge, please print out a worksheet from my website, MathforAll.net, where you can practice this on your own. Then come back to watch another video to learn more about math.